Let's dive a little bit into society's plans. So when we think about the everyday consumer, we live in a capitalistic society. And the first thing that comes to my head is quote unquote the rat race. So waking up early, sitting in traffic, collecting a paycheck, paying the necessities, so food and rent and gas, etc., 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 paying for what you want with clothes and trips. Maybe you're investing in a 401k or a Roth or a life insurance plan, and then whatever's left over, we have the savings. That's great and all, but you're very dependent on that cash coming from your employer every month. Also, let's just be honest, it's not that fulfilling. There isn't a real intrinsic reward until you turn to an age where you can start collecting on some of those investments, and we'll get to that here in a second. So let's start talking about the standard life blueprint. If you think about life and the normal plan for everyone, right? We start with education, we then get into a career. Within that career, it's really our first time to understand how to live a certain lifestyle based on what we're making and we have the ability to live. Then we get some career velocity. But let's be honest, the second that we start making some real money, things like buying dogs, buying cars, having a family, those things start popping up. So that money starts to be bucketed elsewhere. And then within our careers, we continue to grow in them. We continue to potentially make a lot more money. But with that, now we're thinking about saving for college and a lot more. So as life goes on, so do your responsibilities. Both are starting to grow. Finally, we get to the stage where we're at the retirement phase. Great, your investments worked out. We're 60 plus years of age, and we get to live the rest of our life what we deem the strong finish. You get to use that money to not work day to day, to focus on your families, to do the things that you've always wanted to do. Let's be honest though. How many of our grandparents are doing the things that we wish and they wish they were doing in their 20s, 30s, 40s? Not many. And also, if we look at this blueprint, ultimately, it makes us at Money Mailbox think, did we design this life or did someone design it for us? There's ways to break out of this. At the bottom of the screen, you can see the arrow. What we're trying to prove by that are, again, there's people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, early on in their life that are just living free, doing the things they want because they've created supplemental income and financial freedom for themselves. Also, I just want to point out, on the chart that we just viewed, that life blueprint is very, very focused on if life's perfect, but we all know it's not. An analogy I can use is imagine a basketball. If we were to bounce the basketball, because it's perfectly symmetrical, it'll just come up and down. However, it's life. The ball's gonna fly all over the place. Think about things like we need to get out of debt. We could lose our job any day. There could be a death in the family. What if you get in a divorce, have to suddenly move to a new city? There's weddings to pay for, kids to pay for. What if mom and dad get sick? How are we gonna pay for that? We're already stretched thin enough as it is thinking about our future. And if you think about it, most people don't really start thinking about this type of plan until they're in their 30s, until they're in their 40s, they have children, and they start realizing the truth about life and its own plan. All we're trying to do is make sure that you're educated on society's plans and making the proper decisions to get yourself ahead. So now it's time to realize, and I guess I will say, in our eyes, society's 9-to-5 day job plan sucks. Your dependency on active income is an extremely scary place to be. A place that, of course, we've been and now we're just starting to get out of. It puts you in the rat race. You need to constantly think about making more. You need to constantly think about chasing that cheese that corporate America wants you to chase. It's the carrot on the stick. That's all, of course, until you can collect your 401k in your 60s. But if I gave you the option right now, would you really want to work that long? Also, back to the fulfillment. What about fulfillment today? Doing the things you want to today. What about tomorrow? With no additional cash coming in to supplement our lives, there's things we have to think about. What if you work that full career and all of a sudden the market crashes 2 years before you're about to cash out on your 401k? Then what? What are you gonna do? All questions, again, we tend to ask ourselves too late or we turn a blind eye to them.